Hello fuckers, I'm ArchieLuxury and welcome to the program. And today I'd like to talk about how your tastes in luxury timepieces change over time. And it's a bit like when you start out drinking. And when you first start out, you start with that passion pop. So you know, last week you were drinking soft drink or ginger beer. And then this week, you start going into things like Asti Samanti, you know, that fucking sweet Italian wine. And you go to things like Black Tower. Black Tower. It's like lemonade with alcohol in it. And, you know, your tastes over time, as you become more of a connoisseur, you go into your Cab Sav. You go into your Shiraz. You go into your specializations. You understand what a rosé is. You understand what a Chardonnay is. You go into these different wines and you end up liking dry, sweet stuff. And it's the same with scotches. I mean, when you first start out, you think Johnny Walker Red Label is a really cool brand. And Johnny Walker is a great brand because it guides you through. There's Black Label when you got your first promotion. There's Gold Label when you turn 30. Then there's delights like Green Label and XR. And then there's Platinum. And then if you're really, really lucky fuckers, there's Blue Label. And wristwatches is sort of the same as well. You know, you might start off liking Seikos, or, you know, you have your father or family member is into Seikos, and then, you know, you have a passion for them, and then as you acquire a few, then you realize, hey, there's Omega, so you start to think, oh, Omega's a top watch, and then you start to realize, hey, there's this brand called Rolex. And then you think you're king shit. And, you know, then after you've had the Rolex for a while, you start to realize, hey, you know, there are better things out there. These Swiss things like Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, Vacheron Constantin. There's things like Jaeger-LeCoultre. There's Breguet. There's Lange. There's a lot of these specialty houses. And you got to be a bit careful because along the way there's a few pretenders. That's right. Like if you're not careful, you know, you could have say you had like a Rolex Submariner, and then, you know, actually let me start that again. Say you had a Tag Heuer. You got a Tag Heuer when you were in high school. You thought you were king shit. Then when you got your degree and you got a first engineering job, you got a Rolex Sub. Then, if you're not careful, you got to be careful because then there's these pretend brands like Frederick Constant. And, you know, that sounds like Vacheron Constantin. You know, you could be very easily sucked into that brand. You know, it's always the thing. If it's priced too cheaply, there's usually a very good reason for it. It's the reason Porsches and Ferraris aren't really cheap. Because, you know, cheap stuff often has a good reason for being cheap. And there's these pretend brands, like there's Baume & Mercier. It's sort of, you know, it's a Swiss watch, but it's using a generic ETA type of movement. And you got to be a bit careful there. So you really got to know your shit. And the whole thing is your tastes over time, they develop. And you understand that what makes a really great watch is a beautiful movement. So you fall in love with it and you might buy a fucking Mido wristwatch with the horrible exposed display back. Then you might buy an Omega Speedmaster with the display back. Then you realize, hang on a minute, there's no fucking finishing on it. And you suddenly realize the reason Rolex doesn't release a display back is that their movement is not worthy of display. So over time, you start to realize, hey, there's these brands like Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, Vacheron, ArchieLuxury, and they really do magic things with the movement, and it comes at a big price. And they're more connoisseur brands. They're brands for people in the know. They're for people in the know. And this is what happens over time. You start to appreciate the finer things, more boutique sort of brands, not big heavy hitting brands, and you realize what is quality. And it's not to impress other people. Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, it doesn't impress the lay person who knows nothing about watches. But I mean, you have a sexy ArchieLuxury. You go into a like a shop like Brisbane Vintage Watches, they know it's classy. Make no bones about it. The real connoisseurs, they know what sexy shit looks like, and don't be afraid to realize that. And this is what it's all about. It's about having luxury watches that appeal, and your tastes change. And you know, there's a very interesting quote. A man who has the same thoughts, the same opinions and same view on the world at 20 as he does at 50, he's wasted the last 30 years. So it's very much a journey. It's a journey. I'm ArchieLuxury. I hope you've enjoyed this clip. Tell me what you fuckers think of that. See you later!
We specialize in the repair of Rolex and Patek Philippe watches. We've been doing the same thing for more than 25 years. We have Rolex technicians certified by Rolex who actually used to work for the company for many years, like if we're doing the work on the factory. We completely disassemble the watch and we put it to work like brand new condition. When you get a pre-owned watch, it's like if you're getting a brand new unit. The only difference is the money.
We're doing your crossword puzzle.
Open that.
That's cool.
Open that.
Open
There we
this.
go.
All right.
Green, green, green.
I wonder what it could be.
Oh, looky here.
A box.
Oh, boy. Holy crap.
Look inside.
You shit. I mean,
It's a Rolex.
damn, what? Are you nuts?
Yeah.
Come on, almighty.
I know it was
Russell.
Take it off there. See you later.
Oh, no.
Just consider repayment for all those meals you bought.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. And I think it covers this present nicely.
Hey, anybody want a Seiko? Oh, God, Russell, y'all shouldn't have done that.
Oh yeah. Sure we should have.
Oh, man.
Hey,
Oh,
I
shit.
thought
That was a no-brainer right there, buddy.
Thank you. You have that. Oh, come here, boy. Good God Almighty.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that, man.
Oh, my God.
Hey, what about us? What about me?
No, I didn't mention that I got it in Battery Park, did I?
That's all right. Do I have to make payments on it? That's okay, too.
Now you
Oh, my
open
God,
both
Russell.
I mean, it's just like the style you got.
Mommy.
That's why I got it, because it's like what you got. It's just
Mommy. Hey, I got Mommy.
pretty, right?
Oh, man. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, you fit.
Pretty good, man. Last your lifetime.
Oh, God. I
Mommy.
don't know how to thank y'all for that.
Mommy.
I can,
Leave it to Russ and your
I
will.
can open it.
yeah.
Hey,